What is going on, guys? Just finished watching game one of the NBA Finals. Man, I was in for a fucking treat. Now, if you guys didn't watch my preview video right before this, make sure you guys check that out. But right now, we're about to go over game one, and talk about how the Knicks basically took over the game near the end. But honestly, they stayed in the game the entire time, even when they were down by 10 points. So I have some notes here, and honestly, I'm very disappointed with the Spurs. The reason why is because I want to start with some of the stats real quick, and I'm going to read off some notes that I took during the game. So the Spurs started off with a lineup, right, where they had, let me read this off: Wemby, Castle, Fox, Champagny, and Vassell, right? Did you know that after like 7 minutes, they took Fox out the fucking game? Right? They took Fox out the fucking game because he was playing bad. Started off 0 for 3 from threes, from 3 point range, right, in the first quarter, and they replaced him with Dylan Harper, and this motherfucker was balling. Dylan Harper had a pretty good game. Let me go back and start off with the Spurs. So if we go to Dylan Harper, yeah, 16 points, and mind you, he's coming off the bench. One assist, probably could have had more. One steal, one block. No block, sorry. And 8 rebounds. -5. But if you were watching the game, he was taking people to the fucking paint and he was just playing relentless. And in my opinion, he was one of the guys keeping the Spurs in the game. Obviously, Wemby had 26 points, but he was a plus minus -3. He had 12 rebounds, 2 assists, not too bad, and 3 blocks. But the way he was playing, I just gotta say, like, let's start with the Knicks, man, because I gotta give Carl Anthony Towns fucking credit. He was playing great fucking defense on Wemby and really just making it difficult. Honestly, most of the scoring that Wemby did today was really through free throws, honestly. Let me see. So Victor Wembanyama attempted 12 free throws or 13 free throws and made 12. I do agree with one of the content creators I was watching. Like, they were fouling him pretty heavily. So it wasn't like he was just flopping. But as you can see, Carl Anthony Towns only attempted 4 free throws with his 18 points. He was a plus minus 14, and he had 12 rebounds, 8 defensive, and 4 offensive. Let's see. Jalen Brunson scored 30. He was plus -6. Not too bad. He ended up hurting his knee in the first quarter, and I was surprised that he came back in and played so well. He definitely took over in the fourth quarter. I got to look up some of the numbers, like the fourth quarter numbers. But honestly, Wemby struggling was the biggest thing. And I am a little bit concerned with his play, but I'm confident that, him and the Spurs can figure it out. Champagny had a lot of um, a lot of 3 point shots too that kept them in the game as well. Where's he at? Oh, here he is. Let's see how many threes. He was 50% from 3 point range, 5 for 10. That is crazy. Like, am I reading the right stats? Because I'm pretty sure I saw this during the cup too. OG Ananobi also shot 50%, 3 of 6, and he had 17 points, plus minus -6. Landry Shamet had 13 points off the bench, so he did his thing. Mikal Bridges, I've always felt like this with Mikal Bridges. He's a really good role player, but you can't rely on him to just score on his own. He is definitely going to pass you the ball back, and he's definitely going to slash and try to cut. And same thing with Josh Hart. But I feel like Josh Hart, if he has to score, he will do what he has to do. He actually tried to score on Wemby and got his shit blocked. But I liked his energy towards the game, just doing whatever it takes. That's what I get from Josh Hart. But Mikal, he don't really be doing too much offensively unless, like, he comes off a screen or something. And he was taking a lot of attempts. Let me see. Field goals attempted 30. Well, no, that's Jalen. He only attempted 6 field goals. Jalen was definitely chucking up shots. Wemby was 6 of 21, 28% from field goal range is not good, considering that, he tries to score mostly in the paint. But yeah, the Knicks just kept hovering around. Like I felt that even early on in the game. I'm not going to change my pick because I do think, based on what I saw from the Spurs, they're very capable of coming back. But, my thing is like with the Knicks, they're on a roll. They had plenty of rest. I thought it was going to hurt them, but that rest is really helping them in this playoff run that they're having. So I don't know. I'm just disappointed, especially living in Austin, Texas. I'm going to pop out Friday for game 2. Should be fun. But just as a Spurs fan, it's like you feel a little deflated watching that. Not saying I am. I'm a Celtics fan, but, I'm rooting for them because, yeah, fuck the Knicks. Mainly fuck the Knicks fans. I actually like the Knicks team. Pulling up some of the stats here. And I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to pull up the fourth quarter, but let me pull up some of these stats here. Show you guys what I'm looking at. All right. So from field goal range, from a team perspective, it looks like the Knicks shot 41% compared to the Spurs 36%. Both were shooting abysmal, 30%, 25% from three. Spurs only shot 80%, 20 to 25 from free throw range, or free throws made, sorry. Knicks shot 88%, but way less attempts. So yeah, the Knicks had 18 attempts to the Spurs 25. Spurs out rebounded them 54 to 49, 14 to 10, 40 to 39. Rebounds offensive and then defensive. But here you can see they outscored them in terms of assists, steals. Oh, and turnover. Well, no, less turnovers as well. Very similar with points off of turnovers, 19 as opposed to 14. Fast break points, they got 15. Spurs got 15. But this is what's concerning right here. Points in the paint. Then, oh my God. Sorry, guys. Am I reading this wrong? Okay, no. The Knicks is on the left side. So the Knicks had 50 points in the paint as opposed to the Spurs 42. Yeah, that's very telling. That is very, very telling. Let me see if I can get Jalen Brunson's breakdown. Yeah, and they were coming back from a 14-point deficit, which is crazy. Here we go. Jalen Brunson does it again. 13 in the fourth quarter, 30 for the game. So, yeah, these guys went fucking crazy. And funny enough, too, I saw this watching the game. They had Karl Anthony Towns mic'd up saying, hey, as long as we play defense, our offense will catch up. We did this against the Cavs. And one of the content creators I follow was talking about how the East is sorry. And, I get it. But at the end of the day, man, the playoffs is the playoffs. So my whole thing is, we can't ignore this run by the Knicks, this momentum that they have, that they're playing with. Now, he did say that the Knicks and the Spurs are, basically on the same level. But when you have this advantage that you've given yourself, being the Knicks, where you go on 11-0 run in the playoffs or something like that, and then you're going up against this team that doesn't have the experience that you have. Not to say you have more finals experience, but for the last 3 years, this team has been in the playoffs, and that's just not something we can ignore, I will pay attention to Brunson's knee injury or ankle injury or something because he's always getting beat up. But I feel like maybe the Spurs are also beat up from the last series as well, and they're having trouble adjusting. I mean, when you look at the Knicks personnel, they spread the ball, they spread out the offense. They have a bunch of shooters. So the spacing was just really, really good. But I still felt like also the Spurs had really good defense. Obviously, Wemby hovering over, playing help defense is very, very important. And it did affect a lot of shots, but the Knicks just kept being aggressive and swinging the ball around. Jalen Brunson just did not stop. But I'm going to stick with my original pick. If you guys didn't watch my last video, I said that the Spurs would win in 6 and that they would win game 1. We lost game 1, but they're going to win game 2 and even up the series. I still believe they can win in 6. But I'm not going to lie to you. If they go down 2-1, 2-0, might have to change it to 7, but we'll have to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks went on a 7-0 run in the third quarter, but the Spurs went on a 9-0 run in the fourth. So Spurs were trying to crawl back into the game, but it just wasn't enough. So yeah, it's unfortunate, you know. But I actually like the situation that the Spurs in because they need to learn from this. And again, they don't have the playoff experience. Wemby, this is his first playoff run. So they need to get punched in the mouth, you know?
Brunson on the drive, spins underneath, puts it up, puts it in. Jalen
Like he was hitting tough shots like this all night. They got the Rick and Morty. I'm done. Thank you for saving my life. I'm literally just Jalen Brunson. Crazy. Fucking Knicks fans are gonna go crazy, man. Yeah, they were down by 7 by the halftime. So they kept chipping away and staying in the game, you know what I mean? And Wemby had a few turnovers as well, too. I saw in the fourth quarter he definitely had a bad turnover. Let me go back to the stats and then we can go to the fourth quarter to end this video. Let me see. Yeah, Knicks led early in the first quarter, 14-7. Spurs answered with a 20-13 run to go up by 10. So they were up by 10 at one point and led by 14 midway. It's unfortunate. Go play by play, fourth quarter. Go to like the last 2 minutes. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can get a better view of that. All right. I just did Control F right here. At 57, the score is 99-95. 57 seconds left. Wembayama turns the ball over. And then misses a 3-point jump shot. So that was the problem too from Wemby. I kept seeing him shy away from the paint. Again, I think Karl Anthony Towns actually played really great defense. And also Mitchell Robinson too was supposed to be out for the game. He hurt his right hand or something like that right before the game. And he was also playing great defense on Wemby. There was a point where Wemby would drive with his left hand, jump, and then jump for a mid-range shot, and he wasn't able to do that signature move. Let me see how many turnovers Wemby had. He only had 2, but still, like I showed you, that one in the fourth quarter really, really mattered because they were only down by 4. And, you know, who knows if they could have tied it up. Went to overtime like they did against the Thunder. But yeah, let's go over to YouTube. Let me see if I can show you guys the final few minutes. Better not get fucking copyrighted. I'm gonna go to like the last 2-ish minutes. All right, perfect. All right, last 2 minutes, right? So the Knicks are actually down by 1 point. Spurs up 95-94, right? So, okay, hold on. I'm going to replay this real quick. Okay, so he missed a free throw. He only made one. Ananobi went up for the shot. And Jalen Brunson ended up, I think he tried to score before this possession too. But yeah, he tips the ball out. Mikal Bridges recognizes it and he backpedals to the 3-point line. Castle's in the paint. Wemby's in the paint because he's preoccupied. So you can't let Jalen Brunson, he's not like Steph Curry, but kind of is in a way where he's just gonna like find his spots and get to a shot. He could play really well off the ball as well. He's very sneaky. Changing direction. Vassell's playing pretty good defense, but he still hits the tough fucking shot. In the clutch, too, man. Under a minute to go. I don't think this showed Wemby's turnover. And he tried to chuck up another three, but it just didn't work. Kept fouling. It was just ridiculous. And like I said, like I read off in the article earlier, I mean, they had a really, really good start to the game. But I feel like, especially in the finals too, man. What am I doing? Hold up. Especially in the finals too, right? My bad. Especially in the finals, you can't let up. My whole thing is that when they were up by 10, I was like, okay, this is great in a moment. But I've watched too much NBA to know like a 10-point lead could get blown out at any moment. You could lose that at any moment. So I just felt like at that point they should have went for a 20-point lead and maintained that. But the problem was Wemby was being stagnant. He was just scoring mainly off of free throws. Carl Anthony Towns kept taking him to the paint too. I feel like he kept playing him too high up. I know he's worried about his 3-point shooting, but he was just playing him way too high up. And I really only saw Wemby drive to the paint with ease once on Mitchell Robinson. So yeah, he needs to figure something out against Carl Anthony Towns. But, they were still really close. And I do believe the Knicks can come back tomorrow. They just need to make adjustments. So let's see what happens, guys. But yeah, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. I'm making consistent content from now on. This channel has an identity. So, keep looking out for me making this consistent content and really breaking the game down and also having fun with it. I'm not always going to be right. I'm not going to be like these other content creators that, try to act like they're perfect and try to act like they have all the answers. We just having fun with it. So make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.